You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kiersten.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's Caps on Tap, the big show. Spin-off of Truth on Tap. Still truth, still truth.
Karma is a bitch.
Well, karma is a bitch, my friends, isn't it? Woo! 7-0. Oh my God. Man, this is my friend that stayed in a haunted hotel. She would have had a scarier time sitting front row tonight watching the lack of effort, class, and success by the Philadelphia Flyers. Newsflash, turns out bullying went out in the 80s. Yeah, Broad Street bullies, not popular anymore. Crowd booing the onset of a power play. Isn't that a bitch? Tonight, Washington Capitals kicking the little ass of Philadelphia Flyers. I meant to say Lily, and I said little, and I combined it and went Lil. Just beat them up all over the ice. Now, let's give credit to Philly. They did display their classlessness, didn't they? Yeah, throwing the high hits late in the game. Couldn't stand they were losing quite so bad. Got mad that their own fans were booing them. Let me hand something to you, Philly fans. Let me give something to you. You're not at all afraid to boo the living shit out of your team. You know, a Washington Caps crowd, we're a little more classy. We're going to walk out when we're losing 6-0. You'll stay there and punish your own team, won't you? Yeah, you're a little bit more animalistic that way. Yeah, well, good for you. I'm glad you did that. I think when you booed the power play, that was probably the last straw for the players. They realized how bad they were sucking, and they do suck. I mean, look at your record. Look at the performances. And now, the one last bastion you had, the one last bastion of hope you had to keep your class intact has fallen. You are, Philadelphia Flyers and your fans, at the bottom. Go ahead and celebrate a little, because there's nowhere to go from here but straight up. Good for you on that. Good for you on that. Bad for you on everything else. Bad for you for having a goalie. I don't give a goddamn if he's got a Stanley Cup ring. He's a fucking animal that needs to be in a cage. Hope he's not a fighter. He's not a fighter. You're going to skate down, all the way down the ice, especially somebody who has some boxing experience and is a huge boxing fan, and take on a kid because you can't stand you got your ass handed to you on a plate with a side order of high score. Yeah, sprinkle that on. Sprinkle the high score on the ass that was served to you and just taste that. Smell the aroma. It's wafting. That smells good, doesn't it? You got your ass handed to you, and it's going to be worse when you come to the Verizon Center, I think. Maybe not by score, but God help you, Ray Emery, if you show up in the Verizon Center. Got a few people there that are going to be happy to see you when you get there. Yeah, they've got these full cans of beer and shit. Let me ask you this, Ray Emery. Have you ever seen a beer thrown from the third level? That motherfucker becomes quite missilistic, if that's a word. Yeah, goes about 40 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour, weighs, roughly a half a pound. Boom! In your head. Be careful. I hope it doesn't happen to you. We got a classy group there, but we can only take so much when our boys are getting beat on. Yeah, we don't like that. You have no class, Ray Emery, and I'm the kind of guy that'll tell you to your face. You have no class, and God help you if you ever throw a punch at me, I'll knock your ass cold out. I ain't worried about it. The Kev the Fan is broadcasting tonight. I have no class tonight. You have successfully brought me down to your animalistic level. Another pat on the back for you. Fucktards. Fucktards is what you all are. No class, no skill, no effort, no composure, no nothing. Your own coach. You bored somebody into the fucking glass, just about break their neck, and what does your coach go? What's the penalty for? What is this, man? Is this the comics? Is this the Keystone Cops of the NHL? Is that what we're looking at with this year's Philadelphia Flyers? Motherfuckers. Man, I'm pumped up right now. I'm ready to fight somebody. I swear to God, I'm glad I'm not at a goddamn game. I'd be in jail tonight. I sure as hell would be. Motherfuckers. Just can't stand getting your ass whooped. But you know, the score doesn't lie, does it? And here's Holtby. Holtby's going, okay, I got a couple marks on my forehead. I can live with that. Obviously, he was still in good playing order. He shut you the rest of the fuck down, all them shots you were throwing at him. He wasn't having it. So he gets the shut out. That means you went into the game and left the game with 0 goals, Philly. Eat that. That's your dessert. Now, he gets the shutout, but he gets his revenge on Emery, doesn't he? Yeah, it's right up there on the scoreboard. Right up there on the scoreboard. That's all you got to do. Just look at it. If you didn't see it, go to NHL.com. Look at the score between the Washington Capitals and the Philadelphia Flyers tonight. Let me just remind you, that would be 7, a touchdown, to 0. Yeah. Or as Joe Locker said, a touchdown and the extra point. Yeah, you got your asses handed to you, Philly. And we're going to do it again when you come to the Verizon Center. Yeah, Kev the Fan is broadcasting tonight. Lost my broadcasting composure. It happens. You see coaches do it, don't you? I'm surprised Adam Oates didn't do it. You know, you go after players that don't like to fight. Swedes don't like to fight. Holtby's a young guy. He's a peaceful guy. He's like a Zen Buddhist kind of a guy. That's how he thinks. He's always at peace, always in the zone. Yeah, not really throwing the right hooks there. He's got another angle on how to win at life. And it tends to be working for him. If you look at his numbers. Tonight, his numbers were, I'd say he was fucking Zen King tonight, wouldn't you? He was probably levitating there. He had to be. He was levitating in net. He was levitating in net, and there were incense burning right on the tips of the goalpost, right there. I think I saw an aura around him. He said, "Oh, yeah, Holt Beast. I am the Holt Beast." Did you see that? Yeah. 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 Oh, people are laughing and I can hear them. That's funny. Oh, he's a Zen master. Oh, God. All right. Let's get to the game, man. Let me see if I can find a box score here. I don't know if anybody's called in. I might have a co-host on this show. I didn't have my phone lines up, so give me a second. If you're in the text chat, I haven't looked at that either. We don't use notes or scripts here. Surprise, surprise. We got enough to go on without notes or scripts. But I do like to reference the box score. You know, let's try to stay with the guides of the scoring, the penalty summary. God knows, it'll be like a fucking novel tonight. I don't know if I can keep up with the penalty summary, but let's take the scoring summary. Jesus Christ. There's going to be 18 names listed down there with all the assists. Let's see. So I got the phone line open now. Let's see. I got the... let me make sure the chat's open here. If you're not in on the chat, you can get in on the chat. Go to Spreaker.com/user/Truth on Tap show. And you'll see the Caps on Tap. I have 2 shows, Truth on Tap and Caps on Tap. You'll see the Caps on Tap episode playing live. And if you want to get in on the chat, then what you do is just, they may make you like register with your email, but you don't have to confirm it or anything. And then you can log right into the chat, to the site, and then log into the chat. The chat, if you're listening to the show on Spreaker.com, lower right corner by the heart icon, you'll see a little box for chat. You can get in on there. I'm going to have that open. It's funny, the chat icon is not open for me right now, so I'm going to go to the Spreaker site. I'm on the Caps on Tap page right now. I'm just going to go to the Truth on Tap page and make sure I've got a chat window here. Profile. Let me just make sure. There we go. Got the live episode, and there's chat. All right, so it's up. Title of tonight's episode, Caps Destroy, in all capitals letters, a Classless Philly. Yeah, well, we did. How could you title this episode anything else? If you've got a better name for this episode, I would love to hear it. Caps on Tap, Caps Destroy, a Classless Philly. Yeah, it's on. You can go and discuss it on Facebook.com/Truth on Tap show. That's where both my shows are. You tell me what a better name for it is. Caps, I'm going to say it again. Caps, all capital letters, Caps, all caps, Destroy, a Classless Philly. That's what happened tonight. The Washington Capitals destroyed a Philadelphia Flyers team that had no class. Now, it's self-evident in the score that they had no skill or would not use it. Whatever your problem is, that's on you. The fact is you couldn't score a goal. The fact is you let 7 in. The fact is you couldn't make transitions. The fact is your outlet passing sucked. The fact is you were turning over every 30 seconds. The fact of the matter is you didn't have an offensive plan. The fact of the matter is you could not get pucks out of your zone when we got deep. The fact is you couldn't get between people that were passing. And the fact is that when we wanted to, we passed tape to tape and then tape to net. That's the fact. you sucked. And maybe, just maybe, tonight's game was the signature game of your season. Maybe tonight's game will be the best summary. When people look back at the Philadelphia Flyers for 2013-2014, I think they see Caps v Flyers 7-0. Do you? I do. I think that's what they're going to see. Who could forget? Who could forget when you get your ass kicked so bad that you lose 7-0 in your own house and you drop all composure and class? Who could forget that? This is the game of the year for you, Philly. And teams have two types of a game of the year. It is either this phenomenal game where they score, like we did, 7-0, and, two guys get hat tricks, and, maybe one guy gets a penalty shot, and, maybe a couple Gordie Howe hat tricks. Hey, it could happen. So it's really this crazy bunch of circumstances. Well, it's either going to be good or bad. See, I'm not so sure this is the game of the year for us. It would be on the good side, whereas it would be on the bad side for you. I think our game of the year is probably going to involve an Ovechkin. I don't know. It might be a playoff game. You probably won't see the playoffs this year. We will. It'll probably be a playoff game. I don't know for sure. I think it's going to be probably OV getting a hat trick and somebody else getting a hat trick too. But good job, Wardo. I'm sorry I haven't mentioned Wardo yet. My God. I've been beating up on the Flyers because they're pricks so hard here. I have forgot about the greatness of what our own team displayed tonight. Joel Ward. How about that Canadian motherfucker? Comes in, gets his first hat trick of his career. He's deserved one before this. Joel Ward always grinding and working. You know Joel Ward, don't you? Number 42? Yeah, he gets down in there. Here's how I explain Joel Ward to people when they ask me. Now, he's not on my backbone team yet. He's getting there. He's about to take over Fair's spot. Fair has been slacking. But it takes time to get on the backbone team, and it takes time to get kicked off. I give you, sometimes a month to adjust your game. He's not on there yet for one reason. Joel Ward is always busy. I give him credit for hard work at all times, just as I do Jason Chimera. The difference is Joel Ward doesn't quite have enough ice awareness for me yet, because he will be so busy and so grinding that he'll go down in the corner to get a puck and he'll start throwing elbows when nobody's there. He's always fighting for the puck. Joel, look, you're alone, bro. Grab the puck, turn around, see if you got a pass open. Go ahead, man. No fight. I know you want to fight. I know you want to fight for the puck. But just look, you got a open lane there, man. Shemmy's coming up on the right. Toss him the biscuit and let him go forehand, backhand, forehand, lamp. And then we'll call you ice aware. You get ice aware, you're going on my backbone club, and you're close. You're close. You're showing it to me. But it's not all shots, my brother. You gotta put it right out there in front. Caps tonight doing a fantastic job of something I haven't seen in this team for years. Who knows what I'm talking about right now before I even say it? I know some of you Caps fans do. Who knows what I saw tonight with this Caps team that was a common practice in this game that I have not seen a common practice of in any game for years that I can recall? Any game that I can recall. Common practice tonight that makes for a good hockey club. What did you see? Wasn't checking. Checking was okay. Passing was solid. It's usually pretty solid with Caps. They did dump and chase. They didn't change that much. I like to see them skated into the zone, but I can't have everything I want. But what did you see that was rather new to the Caps that is something they should have been doing the whole goddamn time? Passing the puck in front of the net. Putting it out front. And getting a body up there. Now, we don't have anybody like a Mike Knuble that's going to plant his ass in the goalie's face and wait for the ugly shot. But we've got other guys that will skate across the zone. They'll skate across the zone. And that's all that's necessary. We also have guys who will inch in. A Shemmy will do that. An OV will do that. They'll inch in. They don't have to stick their ass in the goalie's face and block him out. They'll inch in. They'll sneak in. That's fine, as long as you get somebody in front. But we're passing the puck in front of the net. You could trace the average pass pattern of a Washington Capitals pass into the shape of a horseshoe anytime we were in our goddamn zone, couldn't you? Yep, going right around the board, shot on net, then right around the boards. It's a song. Not today, not tonight. We'd be over there in the corner, boom, pass to the other side, going right in front of the crease, bam, goal. What? Oh, that's how goals are scored? Shit, let's do this more. Boom, in front of the crease, bam, in the goal. How's that work? Do it again. Next thing you know, we got 7 goals. Beautiful, beautiful. We need to do that more. Adam Oates, when you're going through the tapes, would you please point at the passing in front of the net? Gets the goalie moving laterally, opens up all kinds of options. Defenses get confused. Oh my God, the puck's going to the middle of the ice. Was that supposed to be my stick stopping it? I don't know. I'll hit this guy instead. They just scored. Yeah, like that. Like what I saw there. Let's get the box score up. I'm trying to calm down. My heart rate's about 130 right now. Beats per minute. Let's see. NHL. Give me a box score, you bastards. Who's going to get suspended? I hope, Emery, he has no class. He's an animal. He's like a Mike Tyson. Remember when people used to respect Mike Tyson? Like he would use a big word? Yeah, that's ludicrous, man. That's ludicrous. I don't know how he thought he was going to do that. And we thought he might actually be smart because he was using a 3-syllable word. Then we saw the animal come out. Then we saw he just wasn't going to graduate in levels of class. He was just a fucking thug that could box. Yeah, that's a Ray Emery. You put a Stanley Cup ring on him for the performance of his team and partially for him. But then you realize all you're doing is putting a bow on top of a pile of shit. It's still a pile of shit. Go smell it. The bow's not going to help. He has no class. He has no class. He's got to learn class. He can't learn that. Not at this age in life. If he was 20 years old, I'd say he has hope. But no, he's done. He has no class. He's just an animal. Now it's just the downside of his career, and we'll say goodbye to him. I think he, if you want to be, let me put into your head for a second this illusion. Here's a Philly fan you're thinking of, okay? And this Philly fan is one of the most optimistic people you have ever known. And this Philly fan, he or she, has watched this game tonight. And they are saying, okay, here we go. How about this? Ray Emery is such a great guy that he saw we were getting our asses served to us, partly due to his own bad play. And he decided that what he was going to do is give the crowd something so they could feel like they didn't waste their money. That's the most optimistic Philly fan in the world right there. But there were a lot of ways he could have gone about that. Skating down the ice to take on a young goalie who's not a fighter. You got your name, Broad Street Bullies. You got your name. You earned it, and you've kept it. And you know what? There's been a movement against bullies, hasn't there? Yeah. Bullies aren't popular anymore. Nobody likes them. People get to wailing on them now, and I like that. If you ever listen to my other show, you'll see that there are two types of people I hate in this world, and nobody else. Full-time assholes. I can handle part-time assholes. And bullies. Bullies. Top of my list. I'll go after a bully in a second. So, you know where you stand with me, Philadelphia Flyers, and your damn fans. You know where you stand with me. And I'm going to take every opportunity I get now. I wasn't thinking this before. I was going to give you a break. But not now. Not now, because you've shown what you're made of. You've shown me the lowest possible class that you could display. And that's how I'm going to label you until you show me something different. And that's not going to be possible this year. You don't have that kind of psychological change in 1 year. You are who you are. You are at the bottom rung. You are a bunch of brawlers now in a game of boxing. And you can't win. Just accept that. Why would you think anything different now? You think you got a comeback in the works? You don't have a comeback in the works. You've lost the respect of the entire league. You've lost the respect of your own fans. And you have given people like me who didn't like you anyway a lot of ammunition. There's your future, at least for the next couple years. Looking pretty bleak, isn't it? Enjoy it, You served yourself. You served yourself tonight just as much as we served you. Let's see. Box scores. Looking at Islanders Ottawa here. They're still playing, I believe. They're in a shootout right now. Okay. Well, good luck, whoever, whatever. So Montreal, Minnesota. That's 3-3 actually right now. Colorado, Dallas. Colorado won that one. Detroit won over Calgary 2-0. And here's the Washington. I'm going to the box score here. And then you had Columbus, Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, Carolina, and one other. So here we go. So first period, Nicky, slap shot, assist, Erat Schmidt, beautiful, 1-0 Washington. Second, hold on, I had to I get this auto login shit. So then second, Joel Ward knocks his in. He's got a backhand with assist to Shimera and Grabowski. Beautiful play. So then, a minute later, Jason Chimera, bam, snapshot, Mikhail Grabowski assist there, 3-0. I don't know when did we get the goalie change? Was it at the, it must have been, it must have been after that one or after the next one. I think it was after that third goal. And then, so then you have Dick Boy in there, and bam, a minute later, we get another. Nicky Backstrom, snapshot, assist Eric Fair, Martin Erat. So it's 4-0 Washington. Remember, this is young in the second period, and we're winning 4-0. Yeah. Here we go again. Joel Ward at 16:25. So we go about 12 minutes without a score there. Joel Ward hits another 16:25. Snapshot, assist, Grabowski and Chimera. This line, I mean, what can I say about this line? They are beautiful this year. This line is our highlight. You know, you got people coming to games, and the first line will come out, and you'll see an OV and a Backy and a Mojo, and everybody's going, I can't wait till the third line comes out. A what? I can't wait till the third line comes out. Oh, you want to see Chimera? Yeah, I want to see Chimera, Fair. I want to see Wardo. I want to see them come out. Bam, there they are. They're like, you know, they make me think a little bit of, not really in style, but in popularity right now, the Coneheads. Yeah. I mean, the Coneheads, these are a group of people who are known for the threesome, you know, and this threesome on the third line is just fucking solid, man. I mean, they just come into play every game. Jason Chimera is one of my backbone players. As you know, I've got in the spots right now, and Fair's on notice. We've got Jason Chimera, Eric Fair, OV, and Backy, and I put Holtby in. Now, on your backbone team, you should only have 5 or 6 players, 7 tops, because these are the players to which all other players connect. These are the players to which if you take any one of them out, you hurt the performance of other players. And that's what I call my backbone club. And I mention them a lot, the backbone team. So Fair's on notice. He came out firing this season. I saw it early, and I called it, and then he started scoring mad goals, so I felt vindicated in my choice, even though everybody else was saying, hey, you know, he's a center in progress. Well, maybe. But what I'm saying is the guy is he's a sniper in the zone. You don't see him. He's an assassin. He was just over on the left, but he scored from the right. How is that even possible? And that's what the goalies are saying. That's what the defenses are saying. Well, Fair's relaxed a little. He's getting more into the, I guess you would call it not the individual assassination performances, but rather the structural, positional performances. Like he knows where he's supposed to be, so he goes there. That kind of thing. That'll get you goals, but not the way he was getting them before. He was a man who worked alone before, and he did it well. I loved him for that because he was so unpredictable. But Fair, you're on notice, my friend. I got to put somebody like Wardo in there if you're not going to perform. And Wardo's probably coming in anyway. But I got to keep an eye on him. He's known for late penalties that can give games away. He's known for bad decisions once he gets the puck. But he's also known for very hard work and lately for putting the biscuit in the basket. And when you're doing that, you're winning. There's no two ways about that. So Wardo's on his way up. And I got my eye on him. He'll be in my backbone club if he keeps this up. And Fair, I got to put you on notice, man. You got to give me something. Go back to being a sniper. You can play within your format and still be a sniper, buddy. Let's see. What else are we looking at here? Let me go ahead and get into the rest of the box score. What a night. What a night. I mean, what do you think, Cavs fans? What kind of night was this for you? Did it feel surreal a little bit? I mean, just from the outside of the scoring. I knew we had it in us. You know, things tend to happen crazy, in my opinion, when an OV is out. Have you noticed that? When an OV is sitting out, I don't know. It's like the little change to everything. Maybe everybody says, okay, you know, we got our big power player out. We're all going to have to step up a little. Well, maybe they step up a lot. Maybe that's what happens. Maybe everybody wants to prove, hey, we can do this without OV. Not because they want to show that they don't need OV. Everybody loves that they have OV on the team. It's going to help them get to a cup. But what they want to show is we're good too. We're good too. It's not just him. And that's a natural thing anytime you've got a great player on the team. I mean, if you've ever played a sport, I have, where you have one great player, and if that great player's out, everybody wants to step up, you know, and say, look, we can do this too. It's not a competition thing as much as it's a look, we were here, you know, all the who's in Hockeyville. So, Where am I now on this fucking box score here? Yeah, it's a cussing show. Get the kids out of the room. Joel Ward, Snapshot, Mikhail Grogosky, Jason Schmeier. That was 16-25 in the second period. So at that point, it was 5-0. At this point, Philly fans were saying to themselves, I should leave now, but I want to get drunk. It's Friday, and I would at least like to see them ruin this dude's shutout, whoever he is on the other end of the ice. Well, they didn't do that, did they? Fail, capital, flashing letters, bright fluorescent lights, fail on the shutout. Yeah, we got our shutout. 18-20 comes flying, another goal. Troy Brower, wrist shot, assist. We're still in the second period. Assist, Mike Green and Nicky Backstrom. So look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goals scored in the second period, making that net look a lot like Swiss cheese in Philly. Didn't matter who you put in. We were coming anyway. Third period, we get another. It's just ridiculous. At this point, we're just, you know what this reminded me of in the third period? It reminded me of the Holmes-Ali fight. Remember that fight? Holmes, by about the 8th round, he's looking at the ref, going, yes, the guy can take a punch, but I'm going to kill him. Are you going to call the fight? He's not punching. He hasn't punched in 8 rounds. There's going to be no rope-a-dope here. He's not coming back. He's an old man. He's tired. His speech has been slurred lately. Do you really want me to keep punching on him? He's not defending himself. That's what it was. We were kind of looking around like, how bad can we beat these guys? I think there was a part of us that wanted to really drive the score up. It feels good when you play a division rival, even in a new division. But there's a certain time when it comes and goes, damn, it doesn't even feel that good anymore. Getting more goals. It's like we've kind of made our point. But okay, we'll get some more. So Joel Ward gets his power play goal. That is at 5:23 in the third period. Wrist shot, assist, again, Chimera and Fair. I'm going to have to think of a good nickname for them and see if I can make it. I was the one that called now convict, or possibly convict, Semyon Varlamov. Remember, we haven't seen the evidence yet, so let's just wait and see. If he did what he's accused of doing, shame on him, and I hope he gets what the law has for him. I hope he doesn't find a loophole or something. People deserve to pay for what they do. But remember, we're not the courts, we're not the juries, we have not seen the evidence, okay? Don't you think it's possible that somebody could get next to somebody who's a famous sports icon? Don't you think it's possible that they could say, shit, if I can get him scared and get him, thinking that I've got some leverage on him, say a legal charge, I could probably get some cash out of that. Has that happened here? I have no indication that it has. But when you think about things like this, you have to allow for the possibility. So my gut tells me he's probably guilty. My gut says that, but I've got no evidence to base that on. And in my mind, when it comes to legal cases, I have to be of the mind frame that we wait and we see. We really should be that way in this country. Have you ever noticed when someone gets accused of something, they go arrest them? And I'll get off this in a minute because it's not a happy topic. They go arrest them. Oftentimes there's a crowd waiting at the jail, and they're screaming, baby killer, baby killer. Wait a minute. All you've seen is what the news has had to say, accusations. Isn't this country supposed to be innocent or presumed innocent until proven guilty? Well, what happened to that? I saw people coming out on these Varley charges saying, that motherfucking scumbag, I hope he rots in jail. Well, hold on, man. Hold on. Innocent until proven guilty. Let's try to keep that in mind. If he is guilty, he'll get what the law has for him. But anyway, I called him the Bruce Lee between the pipes. And I'll be goddamn if it wasn't a couple months later, and I did that on a couple of message boards, not on my show. So a couple months later, I'm listening to NHL Network. Kevin Weeks is the black guy, used to be a goaltender. You probably remember him from when he played in the NHL. He was pretty good, actually. And he was talking about it, and he said, yep, that Varley, he's a Bruce Lee between the pipes. And I'm like, you fucking stole my thing, man. And I heard it, I don't know who was saying it, but I also heard it on ESPN. So apparently that's going around now. I love starting new stuff. Who would call? Tell you what, I'll leave this one up to you. If anybody's listening that would like to name this trio, this third line trio for us, what you gonna call them? You can also include the D guys if you want that are typically with them. That's fine. It's up to you. Who you gonna call them? Put it on the Facebook page, facebook.com/TruthOnTapShow. Let me get my.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
And it's Caps on Tap, a spinoff daughter show of Truth on Tap. Tonight, Washington Capitals beating the Philadelphia Flyers, beating, the operative word here, beating, not strong enough to encapsulate the ass whooping that the Washington Capitals handed to the Philly Flyers tonight. Beating, not adequate to describe what happens when one team scores 7 goals and the other team acts like hoodlums. Beating is not the right word, but we did. We just whooped their asses all up and down the scoreboard and didn't do bad in the fights either. So a lot of people getting 5-minute majors, some people getting the 2-minute instigator, others going to get suspended. Had a couple cheap shots there thrown in the third, mostly all by Philly actually. So yeah, that's too bad. That's too bad they don't know how to keep their cool. That's too bad that they have the composure of a men's league in the Bronx. That's really too bad. Because you're in the NHL now, guys. That goes for you, Coach. You're in the NHL. This is where professionals come to play hockey. Yeah, what you did tonight didn't even equate to what I saw the Mighty Ducks do. What I saw was a bunch of thugs pick up sticks, smack at some pucks, and throw some punches. That's what I saw tonight. And really, isn't that what you are right now? I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to change your uniform? You got to do something to change your image. Is it going to be the uniform? I don't know. I feel sorry for your fans in a way. I think that you've given them something to believe in before, a few years ago with the team you had, and now you've yanked one piece at a time out and lost your cool. So you don't even have. There's a baseline in the NHL. When you're doing poorly, you still have this baseline you can maintain of quality. You know, if you got a good GM. You're on the hunt for the right players. You got the mend on for the people on the IR. You're keeping a good eye on your stars. You're putting good lines together. You're always making changes if you're doing poorly by records to get to a better record. But you have gone below the baseline. See, there's nothing you can do with your lines right now. And what's worse, you don't have class. So you're not even getting the respect of the NHL, your own fans, or anybody else. So you really are at the bottom right now, Philly, and who are you going to blame? Who would you blame for it? Would you blame the Capitals? I hope not. Would you blame your own coach? He's just one guy. Blame your GM? You think it's GM's fault? I think it's a collective effort. Mostly the players bringing their own doom upon themselves. But let's take a look at leadership, because leadership in this league has to count for something. And let's take a look at the Washington leadership. You got somebody like an OV who knows if he punches somebody, he's going to break his hand and their skull. Too much power in one man, he knows it. There's going to be a time, he's dropped the gloves before. Was it Downey he dropped the gloves with? I can't remember, but somebody came off the bench and did a beeline and took the fight for him. I can't remember who that player was. For some reason, it escapes me. You know who I'm talking about. He's probably playing for Hershey right now. Oh, shit, I can't remember his name. We might have even traded him, I don't know. I know it wasn't like a son of a bitch. Who was that came off the bench? Well, you probably know. If you know, put it on the Facebook page. Came off the bench and took OV's fight for him. OV had already dropped the gloves, had already dropped the helmet. He was pumped. He was ready to go. Coming out of the penalty box with this guy. He'd heard enough. And this guy takes the fight for him. Well, when you see OV fight, you're going to see people get hurt. The day he gets really pissed off is the day somebody is going to the hospital. So when you have a leader like that who's able to control himself, I think that says something to the team. It says, look, guys, we have a Tom Wilson. We can kick ass left and right. We have a Johnny Erskine. It's not a problem. Nicky is getting frisky these days, isn't he? Yeah, he's running into people. He's not putting up with shit anymore. Those Swedish players never want to fight, but God, there's only so much you can push them. Jason Chimera will drop the gloves. Joel will drop the gloves. They're not afraid to. You get an Alexi in there, he'll light your ass up, and he'll take some punches too. He doesn't care if he gets hit. It's not important to him, as long as he gets his hits in. So he's not always trying to duck punches. He's just steady swinging. So, we've got our core that can fight. That's not a problem. But we don't much, do we? It's a class thing. It's unless somebody's really fucking up, we're not going to drop the gloves with them. So I think people notice that. They see it. We have that. Philly does not. That is put into place. The model is built by your leadership on your team. You guys don't have that either. So that was it. All right, now that was the scoring. That was the scoring. I guess you would call it marathon, 7-0. But the game had just begun, really, hadn't it? Yeah, penalties. I'm not going through this whole penalty thing, but let me tell you this. I'm sitting here looking at the box score on the NHL page. And you've got 3 penalties in the first. All right, you see how this grows? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 penalties in the second. And get your hats ready and hold on to your seats here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 penalties in the third period. Yeah, many for fighting. A few for cheap shots from Philly, who got what they deserved tonight. I didn't have anybody call in to co-host the show tonight, and I don't know if it would have gone the way I wanted it to if I had a co-host, because a co-host probably would have calmed me down. I'm looking at the 3 stars of the game, and I have a problem. Okay? I have a problem. Ray Emery, the thug goalie, decided to skate down the ice and pick a fight with a goalie who doesn't fight, which is Braden Holtby. That's the absolute epitome of low class, but he also let a few goals in, didn't he? Yeah, he was sucky. So he didn't do anything right tonight. He's going to get suspended. He got tossed from the game. Well, I'm over here on the NHL page, and I have a problem because they do the 3 stars of the game. First one, Joel Ward, of course. 5 shots, 3 goals. What else are you going to do? Nicky Backstrom, 2 shots, 2 goals. Hey, 100% shot rate's not bad. Ray Emery is the 3rd star of the game. Ray Emery, who had 15 shots and let 4 in. That's a .733. That's shitty. Ray Emery, who decided to skate down the ice and beat on somebody who wasn't a fighter. That Ray Emery, that's the one that got 3rd star? How? Well, I think I might have figured it out. It's because everybody else on the Philadelphia team sucked even worse than him. Yeah, they had to give it to him. He was the least sucky. They had to give something to them, so they picked the least sucky guy. And he sucked, but not as bad as the rest. That must be what it was. Must be what it was. When Ray Emery, with what he did tonight, is your star, that tells you where your team is, folks. That is the exclamation point on the end of this game. And that is the exclamation point on the end of my broadcast. Let me just remind you of what you're listening to.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kirsten.
And I have to remind you of the score because it feels so good. Oh, there's Brad in chat. I'm sorry, Brad. Shit. I just noticed you were in chat, Brad. Brad Rakucci. Hey, Brad. Sorry, man. Let's see. Let me see what he's been saying. I want to read that over the air. He was talking about Matt Bradley out of the league. He kept half the fans in the building and helped aid third period beer sales. Is he talking about Matt Bradley? What are you talking about, man? Brad, sum it up for me, buddy. Let's see. Were you talking about Emery? So I like to include anybody that's going to be included on the show. I don't. It's my fault because what I do is I get talking, and are you sure it was Matt Bradley? He's the one that skated off the bench to go save OV that day. I thought it was one of the players that got called up from Hershey a lot. Matt Bradley. Okay. Yeah, for some reason I was thinking like, God, I don't know. I was thinking somebody else. Anyway, okay, so it was Matt Bradley. Yeah, it was Matt Bradley. Okay, you're right. All right, yeah, Brad Ricucci talking about that game I was talking about where OV, I don't know if he got his bacon saved. I think he might have done well, but OV's not really a fighter, you know. It was Matt Bradley came in and took the fight for OV. He came off the bench, so I think he had to get suspended for that for a couple games because that's a violation. Oh, Emery got third star, he says, for keeping the fans in the seats. Well, I don't know how many fans were in the seats by the time Emery got in that fight. I mean, we were midway through the third and it was 7-0 or 6-0 by then. I don't know. Yeah, 7-0 by then. So, what fans were in the seats were probably going to stay anyway, in my view. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe that was... I think in his mind he was thinking, yeah, let's give them something for their money. But to go down like he did and do that, it'd be different if we had this goalie in that had a reputation. Maybe he had a reputation for over embellishing on penalties, or maybe he had a reputation for talking shit to the shooters, and you know, something like that. Something where you could say, yeah, maybe he deserves an ass whipping, you know, but not a Holtby, man. That's just picking on the new kid. That's typical Broad Street bully behavior, typical Broad Street bully mentality. I can't stand the way they think. I can't stand the way they operate. It's just a problem for me. It always has been. You know, I didn't even know when I was a kid that they were really arch rivals. I didn't always listen to my games with the volume up. So I would watch the play and I could just see it, man. I could just see this nastiness in the Philly team when they played us. You know, this particular kind of a... And then I would watch them play other teams, and occasionally, you know, especially if they were playing teams from the West, they would chill. They would just play hockey. But teams from the East, and especially us and Pittsburgh and New York, my God, they just act like fucking hoodlums. They have no class when it comes to, you know, I don't know. I don't think they have any class at all now. I'm sorry. So Brad says he's a piece of shit, as is Ronaldo, who should have got 5 for the board on ERAT and may get suspended. Yeah, Ronaldo should have gotten 5, and I think he should have been ejected. But I'll bet you he gets suspended for at least 2 games, probably more like 3 or 4, maybe 5 games. You know, that was a nasty hit. It was a nasty hit at a time when a hit was not even necessary. You know, when you get into a game and you're down by 7, it's okay to throw the square hits. You can say, look, I'm frustrated. I'm still going to hit y'all. I get that. But when you have these plays that you're coming up on and you have time to think, okay, I've got my shoulder. This guy's against the wall. I'm going to lead with my shoulder into his head when we're losing 7-0. What does that say about your leadership? You know, that coach should have already taken all this time in the camp and in the preseason and in the early part of the season to say, don't throw stupid penalties. There's only once or twice in a game where there's a good penalty to take. Most of the other ones are going to be dumb. And when you take a penalty, you're not only giving them a chance, but you could be hurting our team, especially if you get suspended. Well, that was a reckless play, and it was dangerous. I mean, actually, the one on Backy was bad too. But the one on Erat, you could see Erat's head smashed into the boards. And it hit him in the back. And the one on Backy was questionable. I mean, he lined up his shoulder there too. But at least Backy was skating sideways. Erat had his back to the guy the whole time. Now, I have sympathy for those players that hit somebody when they've spun around right at the last microsecond and shown their back to him. I've seen OV get in trouble for that. Look, if you're skating 25 miles an hour and you go to hit somebody, and at the last 250 milliseconds, they spin around and show you their back, that's not right. I think that there should be some lenience there, because people like Sheriff Shanahan don't allow for the calculation of human reaction time. You know, you just can't react quick enough. And now they've got you for hitting in the back when you couldn't stop the hit you were in. It was literally not time to get the information into your brain to say muscles, divert, hit, guy just turned around. Not enough time. The only part of that sentence you get through your head is like muscles, yeah, that's about all you get before the impact. Yeah, so anyway, he says Downey got a concussion via Volpatti's fist. Now that was awesome. Yeah, that was awesome. Downey, it was that left, wasn't it? Did you see that left? That left landed squarely and solidly on Downey's face. I'm sitting there going, good God, did you see that, man? It was like his fist became this almost cartoonish large fist. And boom, boom, you know. I don't know. You know, class is what it was all about tonight. There was no class from the... and are people accusing us of running the score up? Can you even do that in hockey? I don't think you can do that in hockey. You got to keep shooting. What, were we supposed to play four corners to make it easier on them? Brad's talking about the Cavalier also had facial injuries from Oleksi's fist. Yeah, and Oleksi took some hits too, but he's not afraid to take some punches. Oleksi, he's like one of those Boston kids, man. They don't mind bleeding. They will. I'm not talking about the Bruins. I'm talking about Boston kids, the brothers that are always fighting. You know, the Matt Damons and Goodwill Hunting. Those guys. Yeah, they'll bleed. I got a friend, Jason Mahaffey. He's a prison guard now. He doesn't mind bleeding. He'll take a fight. He'll take a punch. Brad Ricucci here talking about the game tonight in the chat, which you can get in on the chat if you'd like, coming over to Spreaker.com/user/truthontap. Come over there and you will see a live episode. Click on that and you'll have a little chat. You can get right in. A chat like Brad is. Brad says, well, Patty's fist has been suspended for 2 games. They suspended his fist, but the rest of him can play. Yeah, why not? It was, you know, this is not... I got a question for you, Caps fans. How many of you suspected this game to go anything like this tonight? I was blindsided by everything I saw. I mean, of course I didn't expect Philly to do well. I didn't expect Philly to show any class, but I don't think I expected to see them sink this low, both on performance and class levels. It sort of caught me off guard, man. I'm sitting there going, I thought I was still dreaming. I got up late. My sleep schedule is dictated by my spine, so I slept today for probably from, 2 to 8, so I missed the opening face-off and some of the play. So I got in on that, and I was just thinking, what am I looking at here? You know, is this real? Everything felt surreal to me. What a game. What a game. This is one, I'm going to take this game to the extent that I'm able to. My radio show is not famous yet. It's picking up listeners slowly. But to the extent that I'm able to, my other radio show is doing really well. I think I'll take this game and this broadcast, probably, and like paste it all over the place. Just try to get more exposure for it, because it will not be the highlight of the Washington Caps season, but it will be the low light of the Philadelphia Flyers season. Yeah, this is the low point. And they can stay low, but they can't get any lower. So I think I'm going to just try to paste this game and these results all over the internet. I'm going to refer back to it years from now. I want people to remember this game. But I don't think people will have problems with that unless they're bandwagon fans. They'll remember the game. They'll remember the game. If I said to Brad in 3 years from now, I say, Brad, Emery and Holtby, he'd be able to say, oh yeah, in Philly, we beat them 7-0, those fucktards. That's what Brad would say. You know, that's why I love people that aren't bandwagon fans. Looking at what Brad has to say here, Brad Ricucci on the... I am pronouncing your name correctly, right, Brad? I want to make sure, because I had this problem last time. I'm pronouncing it Ricucci, so tell me if I got it right. Brad says, a lot of guys called it last time they played in Philly without Ovi. Caps won 8-1. That's right, I remember that. I was actually at a game against Philly with a girl that I was dating at the time who was a Philly fan, and we won 8-2. So yeah, I slept on the couch that night, but that's how that goes. There's nothing you can do about that. You know, I don't mind paying a price for my team. Got to run, but leave you with this. Caps players don't stand around waiting for OV to score when he's out. OV missing a few, and I'm hearing he won't be back till Thursday, maybe. The best thing for this team. All right. Yeah, and I got his name right. So Brad's checking out. Brad, thank you, man, for coming into the chat and talking to us on this episode. Good input there, as always. These guys, on a certain little secret group I'm a part of, that because we don't like all the fanfare of bandwagon fans and bullshit, so we kind of have this little group on Facebook where we talk serious Caps talk. Brad's a member of those guys. You have the Levesque brothers in there. Chris and his brother, what's his brother's name? I can't think of it. I know Brad works with him. Are you still there, Brad? What's Chris's brother's name? Stefan? Steven? Stefan? I think it's Stefan. Those guys know their business. They know their Capitals business. And I'm very impressed with them. They're above me on Capitals knowledge. And, because I haven't been the kind of guy who is an astute observer, even though I've been watching them since 1974. I just watch my games like your average fan, but I've been watching forever. So, my knowledge has been built in chunks and pieces as we go. And I've always been a huge hockey fan. It's the one sport I've never played. I've played just about every other sport there is. Played all 4 years of football in high school, offensive end, defensive end, offensive tackle. They do what you have to in a small school. And I wasn't that big. I was 6'4", but I was only like 190 pounds. All you had to do was show up to play on our team. I mean, my graduating class was 72 people. So had I been in a city where I was living about an hour away from where I went to high school, I wouldn't have made the team. I was too skinny. But anyway, hockey is always a sport I've had a lot of respect for. The hits are at 3 times the speed of football. The guys can fight, and just everything that makes a man is demonstrated daily in a hockey game. Maybe that's what it is. But I'll tell you something else I like about hockey. I like the slippery factor, the unpredictability of the way something will move on ice. And it is predictable to a degree. I mean, that's what they bank on. But, just kind of cool to me. Just the uncertainty, the speed of the game, the feel of a goal, because they're kind of rare, unless you were at the game tonight where goals were just as common as face-offs. Capitals walking all over Philly. Let's see. Brad says, have a good night, and listening to you, just watching this Latta kid. Yeah, watch Latta. Tonight I was watching him against the board saying, hey, Latta, what's the matter? He's going to be our pest. He got under the Flyers early. Also, he has great hands. Make sure the Forsberg trade may make the Forsberg trade a lot less painful. You're right. I watch these players that have these skills. I haven't noticed that he had great hands, but I'm taking your word for it. These guys can surprise you. I knew a Tom Wilson would come in, and I thought, okay, he's a scrapper from where he comes, but we're in the NHL now. This is the big time. He's probably not going to fight too much, not till he's been in the league a few years. My God, this guy's had like 7 or 8 fights already and won them all. I mean, I was wrong about him. I told people early this season, watch out for Tom Wilson. Watch out, because these new guys, they come a swinging, and they're doing everything just right, and they're working overtime. Then when they make the team, they chill. Well, maybe he has chilled a tiny bit on performance, but I think that's just a part of settling in. I think he's really got something to offer, and he's going to be in the NHL a good long time. Hope we hang on to him. We need a couple of more bangers out there, to be honest with you. Somebody like a Mojo, all that skill, doesn't use it. He's a little soft. Fair's not mixing it up often. He went toe-to-toe with Simmons tonight. It was one bad man. Yeah, and I think he gave Simmons, what would you call that? Would you call that a draw? I couldn't tell you. I couldn't say he won it because he went down first, but he sure did exchange some blows, And Simmons was asking for it too. You could see him asking for it off the face-off. And then he ran into somebody right off the face-off, which was a fair hit, but a little unnecessary. And then when he hit Wilson, it was like, oh, you want some, don't you? Yeah, we're going to have to go. We're going to have to go right now. And I don't blame him. I think you have to fight right there. I think you could have played the cool head and said we're winning 7-0, but not a Tom Wilson. That's his honor. That's his reputation on the line. He's already built this fighting reputation. He can't take a hit from Simmons, a late or unnecessarily rough hit, and then not fight. Tom Wilson's going to drop the gloves. Good job, Tom. Way to go, man. And Simmons is a good player, and he's a good fighter. He's one of the highlights of that poor Flyers team this year. So, well, this is about the end of the broadcast here, folks. I like to try to keep these relatively short so that I don't bore people by stretching it out too long and too wide. But what we can do is if this picks up a little in popularity, get these players on here, we can add on topics. So what I'll do is if I start at the outset and say, okay, we're going to talk about the Capitals game tonight, but then we're just going to talk about the NHL for another hour after that, then I'll put that in the title, and that way people aren't, feeling like they're being drug out too long, So I'll let you guys get back to your beers and yelling, because it is a Friday night. I want you to go have some fun. Celebrate this win. Remember that the Capitals tonight served the Philadelphia Flyers their own asses on a plate with a side order of high score and class. Yep, sprinkle that right on top before you eat the ass. because it got handed to you. Got handed to you, Philly. Yeah, you guys, you're feeling this for a while. It's going to burn a little. It's going to burn a little. Put some aloe vera gel on it and hope for the best is all you can do. And that's that. So you've been listening to Truth on Tap's daughter show, Caps on Tap. Your host, Kevin Kierstead. I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. We are normally going to be on after a Capitals win because I can't get anybody to listen after a Capitals loss. But that's not always true, because I have a couple of willing co-hosts who will come on after Capitals losses to talk about what we did wrong. I don't mind talking about what we did wrong. You know, my spirit's a little deflated too when we lose, but I'm not afraid to talk about it and say, okay, you know, let's talk about what we did wrong. And we don't beat up players. If you're in the NHL, you're probably pretty good. You know how that works? Yeah, we don't beat up on players a lot on our own team. We just talk about where the mistakes were made and maybe where some line changes need to be made, or even just some shift shuffles, whatever. You know, nothing real drastic. But it needs to be talked about. We need to have an understanding amongst ourselves. We can be a smarter fan base. I like that, because when you get into the big debates on the message boards and stuff, I love seeing a Caps fan know his shit. I love seeing a Caps fan act classy. I still haven't forgiven the guy. This is how I have a problem with forgiveness. My friend Shane out in Colorado, he's an Avs fan. Yeah, he says this. He says, Kevin, you have a problem with forgiveness. He was the first person to ever tell me this, and he was dead right. I had no fucking idea. I do have a problem with forgiveness. I don't let go of stuff. So I have not forgiven this Caps fan who dumped the beer on John Tortorella's head. You remember, don't you? About 4 years ago? Yeah. Not representative of our fan base. We have a classy fan base. We got to keep it classy. I like having that distinction. And it's not an easy one to hold on to, because a few bad apples can fuck it all up. So spread the word if you're a Caps fan. Let's keep it classy, man. Let's represent in a way that only the pros do. You know, if we're going to be in the mafia, let's be an Al Pacino, okay? Not a Ray Liotta. Let's be smooth. Let's go in with class. We know our game. We know our team. Let's be real fans. Thank you again for listening. This has been Caps on Tap. Your host, Kevin Kierstead, and I'm out.